4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, welcome to another edition of Property Players Podcast. I'm your host, C. Muzan. I got a great guest with me today. This is a young lady. Her and I have been in business together. We've gotten a chance to be around each other for a little bit of time. She knows my family. I know hers. And just a really, really solid person here in the real estate game. So I wanted to make sure that she could share her story and talk a little bit more to the community. So Miss Lily Ramirez is on. Thank you for being on, Lily.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we just jump right in here. There's no fluff needed, but let's just start by talking about you. Give me your background. Give me the origin story, right? Like, who is Lily? Like, how did you get to this place? You can go as far back as you want.
Ooh,
Yeah,
oh Lord. I'm actually Angeline. I grew up in Carson.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Carson. I'm originally born in Northern California. Lots of family up there. First generation American. My parents were immigrants or are immigrants. And their entire family are immigrants. So there's a little bit of pressure when it comes to first generation, right?
I'm sure. I don't know that feeling, but I understand that there's got to be a ton of pressure when they sacrificed everything to come here.
Oh, yeah. I tell people all the time, I go, you guys ain't got nothing on the Bill Cosby joke about walking up, 5 feet of, snow, backwards, uphill. I'm like, my father used to have to cross the border every day. So don't give me that,
That's crazy.
And I grew up in Carson and went to school in LA. So I think I got a little street smart behind me. And when I got to be 21, I was blessed to work for a golf company.
Okay.
And just start off as a receptionist.
Okay.
And there was some schooling there, but then they brought me to the Orange County.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, what's this place? When they told me I was going to be moving to Cyprus, I was like, whoa, all right, I'm moving to Texas. I'm out. I'm done. But I was like, I'm following you. I'm going.
Yeah.
I didn't know where Cyprus was, and
Sure.
Then, so I was like, guess what, Dad? Nope, it's just Cyprus, Orange County. He's like, oh, okay, I guess I have to go to work tomorrow. So anyways, did a lot of learning there. New culture, new area, a lot of growing up.
Right.
Growing up.
How did you get there? I mean, from high school, did you do college anywhere?
I did. I wasn't good at it.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't
good at it.
I like to work.
Yeah. It's always been that way?
Yeah. I started working when I was 12 years old. Again, being an immigrant child. Being the only child.
You're an only child?
I'm the only child, yeah.
Me too. Yes. Yay for only children.
Yes.
I joke with people sometimes, Lily, because I tell them, like, I just learned how to share like 5 years ago. Like, I was an adult when I learned how to share.
Yeah, what's sharing? I'll give you something. I ain't sharing it with you. I'll give you something.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're a different breed. And so back when I was, I think, in 4th or 5th grade, and she, growing up in Carson, I was the only Hispanic in my entire class, maybe one other girl, and she barely spoke English. And so my mom used to send me to school with burritos. And what do you think happened, right? Because that was the lunch program, right? She's like, you're eating burritos every single day. My friends were having sandwiches. My friends were having sodas. They were having potato chips. They were eating from the cafeteria. And so I'm the only child. My parents make okay money. I didn't qualify for those programs. But my mom also taught me that if you don't eat my food, you don't get to eat. So anyways, the reason I'm telling you this story is because I wanted to eat the cafeteria food. Can you believe it? I wanted to eat the cafeteria food. So that was an opportunity to work in the cafeteria. And I can get a free lunch.
So you worked in a cafeteria at how old?
I was in 4th grade, so 9 years old, because of, I guess, maybe pride.
Wow.
To be like the other kids,
Yeah.
So winning you know, we weren't rich, but we didn't qualify for the government programs.
Sure. Wow. So you always had this hardworking gene, this hardworking spirit about you.
Yeah. So in there, I went to college, didn't really, you know, do much with it. It was just maybe an extension of high school along with my bad habits from high school. So I just went to work. I went to work. So when I started working for Cleveland Golf, I was just about 21. Did some odd jobs there, and always in sales.
Okay.
I went to work as a receptionist for Cleveland Golf, got into a new environment, got into the corporate world, and quickly started learning how I can do it. Yeah, I worked there for 10 years, and then I started working as a marketing administrative assistant.
Really? How did you make that transition? Like
working my way up as a receptionist, doing, you know, busting my buns, doing more than what was required of me as a receptionist, calling other departments saying, what do you guys need help with? Because answering the phone was just not enough for me. I needed to multitask.
Sure.
Yeah. So then I went, oh, I am so sorry about that.
That's okay. We're always busy.
I know. I'm so used to doing it when I go into meetings. I forgot to do it now. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
And so then I went into accounts receivable. So I used to have to call people when they didn't make their payments. That wasn't fun. But I got used to rejection.
That would be a place that you could get used to rejection.
And people avoided me and telling me lies, and you know. And then finally, I actually went back to night school. I didn't know how to type. Can you believe it?
So why did you go back to night school? Because if college didn't really do it for you the first round, why did you go back? Was it just for typing, or was it another reason?
For typing, because the Windows was coming into the world.
Got it.
Yeah, I started working before the internet. Yeah.
Got it.
So I just wanted to learn how to type. And so from there, I started taking all the Windows programs. And then from there, I started taking an administrative assistant short program, night school.
Right.
And that was pretty much it. And that got me into the marketing department. So the company was growing. That opportunity came up. I was prepared. So I took it right away.
Nice. Okay. So as soon as you got into that position, just same thing, kept working, excelled. What was the next move?
Yeah, and created my own job, actually.
Got it.
Created my own job. That was a new position, and I created it from it. And I liked it. I liked that it was marketing.
Okay.
And so I did that for the last 3.5 years that I worked there.
Okay.
And in the meantime, being married and having children. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So I had my second child, and I was actually on bed rest from 6 weeks of pregnancy.
Wow.
Yeah. How do you think my A-type personality was at that point?
Yeah, that could not have been fun.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't do this. I cannot just stay here, do nothing, and nothing. I mean, I physically can't do anything, but I picked up a real estate book before this was online. We didn't have it online back then. Picked up a real estate book, read it, and by the time I was 8.5 months pregnant, I took my test. Took my test. Nothing of it, just trying to keep my mind busy.
So it wasn't anything specific where you were like, I really want to go into real estate. It was just kind of, it was there. If you read the book and you're like, hey, I might as well give myself something to do.
Exactly. It was more like I wanted to do something. And me being naive, if I can sell a house a year, they'll pay for a vacation and for a house cleaner. Those were the two things I wanted. I wanted a house cleaner and I wanted a vacation. Because working at corporate, that wasn't going to give it to me.
Right.
Because I was working on the fixed income that I had from my salary working at corporate world.
Right.
And with 2 children at that point, a house and a corporate job, I just needed help around the house.
Right.
And I wanted a vacation. And so when I went back to work, they told me, oh, we filled your position. Obviously, I had been out almost 9 months, and we don't have anything for you. And they let me go.
Wow.
So we didn't have FMLA back then. California hadn't passed that law.
Right.
You get pregnant, they still have to give you a job.
Right.
Have it. We didn't have it. So I had my real estate license, and I said, well, I guess I'll do this. And I jumped in the next day, called up. I had already been with a broker. I had already signed up with the broker and to sell my one house a year. Okay. Right?
Right.
And I called him up and I go, guess what? I got fired. He goes, thank God. He wanted me full time. He was so happy. And I did a open house in North Long Beach.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That is so crazy. That is such a wild story, because most of the people, and for people that are listening out there, you've heard some guests that we've had on the podcast, and you'll continue to hear more. But normally people don't have that story, Lily. Normally people really want to pursue real estate to some degree, right? They're coming in from a career that they didn't like, or they just saw that there was wealth being created, and they put themselves in a position to jump into real estate. For you, it was more like, I this kind of fell in my lap a bit. I did what I needed to do. I studied, and then it's a blessing in disguise, because you wind up getting fired. They let you go. Now you have an actual career that you could fall back on, but it became your primary career.
Correct.
That is such an awesome story, because you just never know how you're going to land in a certain career, how you're going to be successful. I think one of the main things that you have, and we'll get more into kind of what you've done in the real estate world, but one of the things that you have is that work ethic. The thing that I always try to teach people, no matter what industry you're in, you have to have some internal work ethic. Like, you have to have some grit in you that says, hey, I can get after it. I can work hard. I have no problem sacrificing time, all those things. And then you can just apply it in a place like real estate. But that's why I'm sure you're successful in real estate now, is because you hold on to those things, right?
Yeah, and it's not easy getting up and motivating yourself every single day when the deals are dying or the market's turned, or basically you don't have appointments for that day. And so you have to go out and look for that surrounding to give you a reason.
How do you motivate yourself? I think that's a good place to go, because there's probably a lot of agents out there, or even other people that are listening, that don't maybe understand how to motivate themselves or where they go. So what do you do?
I'm morning routines is a good thing for me. So I don't do any social media in the morning. I don't turn on the news. Actually, I don't even watch TV until much in the evening, and it has to be dark.
Sure.
But I try to do a good morning routine by either listening to a podcast or something on YouTube that would just motivate me, or I also have a coach that I follow their systems and take it from there. So mental intake in the morning, that's pure positiveness.
So important.
Yeah.
So important. People have no idea.
Really badly.
Most of us do. It's true. It's so true.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you would say that, because that's actually one of the things that I believe in fully, is what your routine is in the morning, right? If people don't take control of their mornings, the day takes control of you.
Oh gosh, easily.
It's what happens. Like, if you're not focused on what you should be doing, the task, getting your mind prepared, getting your spirit prepared, getting your body prepared to face the next 18 hours of your day, if you're not prepared, life just kicks you around. It just punches you all day long, and you have no idea. You're just reacting.
Yeah, definitely you become a punching bag, because you're standing there saying, okay, world, hit me. instead of saying move out the way because I'm here, But
Exactly.
it's a mental game. It's a
1,000%.
within yourself, and so it's easy to fall into um, other traps.
Yeah.
But I tell myself, sometimes they ask me, well, how do you do this and that and that and that and that, and I put myself in situations I can't get out of. I hold myself accountable to
Absolutely.
people, put myself in organizations and put myself in leadership, because if I don't show up, a lot of people are counting on me.
Yeah.
And so, because if I can hide in the back, eventually I hide in the back enough where I'm not even showing up and no one's going to miss me.
And that's most people. Like,
Yeah.
again, you're not like, you are so ahead of the curve that these are the things that make you successful. Because most people, they don't want the accountability, they don't want the responsibility, they don't want to be in a position where other people depend on them. So it's easy for them to quit, it's easy for them to take a step back, it's easy for them to not give 100%. And that is, I see it happen all the time in many different industries. But the fact that you have it the other way, right? So you actually put yourself in that position, it's the reason you're successful.
Yeah, like again, I put myself in the situation. If I don't show up, people are gonna be like, "Well, where is she?" And I let a lot of people down. And so that doesn't mean that I don't get sick or that
Right.
sometimes I don't want to show up,
Right.
because I put myself in that situation and those surroundings. People are counting on me. And this is not just clients, I'm just talking about other businesses and organizations. And I'm part of the Cypress Chamber of Commerce. So obviously, I became a board member. Can't miss those. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So, I'm part of BNI, Business Network International, and I'm running a small group of mastermind people there. And so I'm always putting myself in situations where if I'm not there, I will be noticed. And
Absolutely.
I won't let people down because my reputation is more important to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. So good to hear that you've developed that over time. Take me back to like the first year or two in business, in real estate.
First year and two, I didn't know what I was doing.
Tell me about it. Like, what did it feel like? Were you always nervous?
Oh God, yes, 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 yes. But I took all my sales classes. I cheated a little bit. Let me take you back to when I was supposed to be in bed rest.
Mm,
One day out of the week, I cheated and I went to sales classes at the real estate office where my broker was, right?
got it.
I made sure to put my feet up, is what I told my mother,
Mm,
but I was going crazy. So I was blessed enough that even before I got my license, I was actually going to the sales classes.
got
So
it.
when I did that first open house, I knew what to say. I knew what to do. I just had to physically get through it. That was in 2003. Real estate was, we were basically an order taker.
Right.
What do you want? This is the house. What do you want? Here you go.
Right.
There was no sales skills, nothing. Even though I learned all this, nothing was needed because the market didn't require it at that time.
Right.
So I did everything. I did farming. I did door knocking. Farming when you drop off flyers in a certain neighborhood. I did door knocking. I did open houses for other agents because I didn't have any open houses.
Right.
You know, I took on buyers and I was showing them property at 9 o'clock at night because I needed to sell a house. Right?
Right.
I had no income. I
Yeah.
had no savings.
Yeah.
I had nothing.
Like,
Nothing. And I, um, I think unemployment or disability or something gives you a certain amount of time. And so when you're 1099 and you're W-2, you can do that. So I had about 6 months to make my first paycheck.
right.
I had about 6 months to make my first paycheck. So I did everything I had to do. I did close out some deals in the first 6 months. It was actually my cousin.
Nice.
Yeah, I sent out a letter because my broker told me, send out a letter, tell everybody you're in real estate.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I didn't ask any questions. I didn't know I don't know. I didn't
Right.
know. Everything my broker told me to do, I did.
That's
And so I
smart.
sent out a letter. My cousin calls me. He goes, guess what? I want to buy a house. I was like, okay. It was out in Redlands. Not even my marketplace. But
Wow.
that marketplace, I had just been in the business 6 months. So I did everything for 2 years because the market was hot. And then I got a hold of my first listing. I got an opportunity to market instead of just show homes.
Right.
And it brought me back to my corporate days. When you have a product that you can market. Mm-hmm. So I was blessed that I had that information from the corporate world, and I started using it. I started doing it.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Would you give real estate agents today the same advice that your broker gave you, or how are things different now?
Now it's almost 16 years. Now I would tell them, again, this internet wasn't big back then in 2003. It had just started. And I remember websites costing you $1,000 a month.
Right.
Back then, because you couldn't control it. There was no app for that. There was nothing. So that changed a lot. So the old methods of knocking on doors and dropping off flyers, that used to be the only method you can actually get to homeowners.
Right.
Now homeowners just go on their phone and do that. So I would say do what I did in sending out letters to your sphere of influence, telling them that you're in business and you're ready to start.
That's good. That's good. And even using social media, right? I'm a big social media guy.
Oh, God, yes. Yes.
Using that as the way to message people or send out that letter to someone saying, hey, I'm in real estate now. That's probably a good way to start.
Yes. And it's with your sphere of influence.
Absolutely.
I have now just adapted my business to my sphere of influence and past clients. And via referral. I only do business via referral. And I've only been doing business via referral. I think now for where you're 16, I started solely working on only by referral. I committed to that in 2010.
Wow.
Middle of the recession.
Wow.
2010. So it's been 6 years that I've only committed by referral.
So you don't do any marketing. You don't really have to go out and get leads.
Basically, I don't pay for leads.
Don't pay for leads.
I don't pay for leads. I don't door knock anymore, and I don't do other people's open houses.
Right.
I market to my sphere of influence.
Okay.
Market to my social media. I market myself to my past clients. I market to myself that people will use me in case they have an opportunity to refer me.
Got it.
So Gmail tells me I know over 2,000 people, 2,000 contacts. I've really brought that down to 352 contacts.
Wow.
I put them in a current database, and I work that database every single day, along with social media.
Got it. Sounds like you're pretty organized. Are you an organized person?
I've learned to be organized.
How important is organization to your business?
Hugely, because we can do whatever we want to when we want to, and we can get very disorganized. So it's almost as important as the morning routine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's almost as important as the morning routine. And so sometimes it's a little militant, but being in the business that nobody tells you really what to do except maybe to go into a sales meeting, I created non-negotiables for myself. And this is taught. I follow a company called Buffini and Company. I follow them, who has taught me this, and I've embraced it, and this is what I do.
Got it.
So, yeah, I have non-negotiable. Every single, even if I don't have an appointment.
Absolutely. It's super important. I'm in the process of coaching and training another agent on our team that just went full time. And that's the number one thing I told him. And I was like, hey, you got to have a schedule. You got to be disciplined, because no one's going to tell you when to wake up, when to go to sleep anymore. No one's going to tell you where to be or what to do or what your productivity needs to be for that day. You have to have some of those non-negotiables. You have to have some of those things in your schedule that you say, hey, no matter what, from this time to this time, I'm doing this. No, I can't go take that person to the airport. No, I can't go pick this person up. Like, yes, I might not have an appointment today, but it's still a work day. I have to have some of these things implemented. That's the difference between being employee minded and entrepreneur minded. And the people that succeed the most in real estate, financial services, any entrepreneurial venture, you have to have an entrepreneur mindset. And once you have those things in place, that's where the success comes.
Yeah, and it's not just the mindset, it's actually creating the new habit.
Absolutely.
It's creating a new habit. I'm happy you said talking about, no, I can't pick up at the airport. It was tough for my parents to understand that, no, I can't pick up my cousin in La Quinta.
Yeah.
But you don't have to work for anybody. No, Mom, yeah. But you don't have any appointments. I know, but yeah.
That is easy. The easiest trick of your family and friends is to believe that like you have nothing going on because you no longer have a job.
Yes. And so, yeah, it took time for me to, how can I say, educate them. And saying I have to work right now. And now it's turned. Yeah. Now it's turned. Now they're like, hey, what does your schedule look like?
That's it.
And
how long did it take for them to come to that realization?
My parents, about a year. But I've also learned that we train our clientele.
Yeah.
So you can train your family. You can train first you have to train yourself.
Sure.
You have to train yourself. Then I trained my family, and then now I train my clients. So another thing that when I started is, you were asking about when I started and what it looked like. I worked every single day with no structure. Every day. I don't take Sundays off. And I tell my clients, and everybody's like, what? A real estate agent taking Sundays off? And I'm like, yeah. Well, first of all, it's not my rule. It's someone else's rule. It's God's rule, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we need it. You need it because it's not, I have a son who's going to be 21 years old now. Wow. And that pregnancy I talked about, that kid, he's going to be 16.
Wow.
So, I don't want to miss that. Absolutely. And so I take Sundays off. I tell my clients up front, if we're going to work together, you got to understand I'm doing open houses or I'm working for you on Saturdays, Monday through Saturday, but Sunday, nope, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I lost clients like that, and that's okay. I don't want to lose my family.
Absolutely. Right. It's priorities, faith, family, business. So however you choose to prioritize it, that's how I prioritize it. It's faith, then family, then business. But at the end of the day, you have to give yourself that day. Some people take it on Sunday because, it is the Lord's day. It's a day of rest. Some people just take it on Wednesday, right? But at the end of the day, you need a day. If you're going to work a business, you need a day or two in that week to make sure that like you're rejuvenating yourself. You are making sure that you're at your peak in order to be able to service other clients. So it's good that you took that day.
Yeah, and talking about the peak too, I struggle with anemia, so I get fatigued very, very quickly. And so you have to, when I was talking about training yourself, you also have to train your body and to when you are the best. We all have them. Absolutely. We all have them. Some people say we're morning people. I'm a morning person. I love mornings, I am not a afternoon person though. I struggle with the afternoons. And so I know that in order to do the non-negotiables, I got to do those things early before my body then says, okay, it's time to slow down and, we all have them. And you yourself too. So I know that my non-negotiables, my calls, my what I call Popeyes, my notes, my marketing time, whatever needs to be done in the morning, that's when I'm the best. And when you're self-employed, you have to understand that about yourself as well.
So important.
We can run 18-hour days, but we're not at peak 18 hours a day.
Absolutely. Self-awareness is everything. When you
Yeah.
run your own business, self-awareness is how long do I have? Do I have 6? Can I give you 6 good hours? Or can I give you 10? Can I give you 3? What do I need to get done? But being self-aware and knowing your strengths is so important.
Yeah. And if it's 6 hours, make them the best 6 hours that you have.
Exactly. That's what people don't understand. I think when they jump into real estate or some other entrepreneurial venture, where it's like, you don't have to, now that you're not confined by a job and someone telling you you have to be there from this time to this time, technically you can get as much work done in this amount of time if you really work hard. If you
Yeah.
only want to work 3 hours in the day, cool. Make it the most impactful 3 hours of your day, get all your stuff done, and take off the other 7, 8 hours in your day and just do something else that you love. Be with family, go hike, whatever it is. You don't have to spend the same amount of time, but your mindset has to be different about it.
Correct, correct. And at the same time, being the devil's advocate, don't cheat your business either. You know what I mean? So
Awesome.
you have to know how many hours you really have to dedicate in order to do it. And
Yeah.
so I know a little bit about your guys' business, and look at the statistics that it takes for someone to be successful in your business. And if they say it's 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, whatever it is, then do it. Then do it.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Pushing paperwork, making phone calls to vendors or service providers or whatever you call them in your industry,
Mhm.
um, that's not proactivity. Knowing the difference between proactivity and being busy is two different things.
Absolutely.
All the other stuff is going to have to get done. That's on the deadline. You know what's not on the deadline? Our proactivity. How many people we need to contact? How many people we need to meet? How many people we need to add to our database?
Mhm.
How many outgoing calls? How many whatever? There's no deadline for that unless you give yourself a deadline for that.
When did you learn how to do that? Because if you said your first 2, 3 years is just no structure, a bunch of chaos, when did you learn things like that?
About the third year.
Okay.
About the third year, when at that time my family says, "Hey, hello, remember us?"
Got it.
Yeah, they can't plan anything, can't do anything. I don't regret it. I mean, I was starting a business. You gotta do what you gotta do, and the market was good, and so you did that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a normal market, so I needed to do structure and do everything to have a solid business and not let the market dissipate how my life is going to be.
Absolutely. How do you deal with that in real estate? I think that's a fair question because, lots of ebbs and flows, lots of ups and downs in the market. How do you handle that with your clients? How do you handle that personally? How do you navigate that being in the industry so long?
Well, with clients, it's just non-negotiables. No matter what the market's doing, my marketing campaign is going to be the same.
Okay.
Okay. I might have to up it a little bit. Right now, I've structured myself to do 10 outgoing phone calls a day, touching bases with people, and just chatting with them, checking in with them, and asking them for referrals and who they know that might be able to put their house on the market or whatever, or maybe an introduction to somebody. 10 outgoing phone calls, follow it up with a note card, and going out and visiting 3 past clients every single working day.
So say that again. 10 calls and what else was it?
10 notes. Every
10
phone call
notes.
is
Got
followed by a note card.
it. Okay.
Okay. Touching bases with them again,
Got
remind
it.
them that we had a conversation.
And then
And
you
or
said,
just leaving a voicemail just to follow up with a note card.
got it. And then you said also visiting old clients.
Yeah, visiting either other business alliances, or past clients or people who believe in me and my business, and either passing by their office or passing by their home, depending on where I can see them during the day.
Awesome. That's awesome. And that's some real valuable stuff for those of you that are listening out there that might have just gotten started in real estate, or maybe your business is a little stagnant. Lily just gave you a couple things that you should be doing, or for the productivity of your day. Make sure that you're making those calls and that you're getting in front of people and that you have some structure in your day. That's going to help you become more productive, which obviously you've been, Lily. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So even when it's slow, even when the market's not at its highest, those things are still happening.
Got it.
Those things are still happening. On the other end, how do I deal with the highs and the lows? You have to budget. There's no way around it. There's just absolutely no way around it. And that took me some time to understand too, because I come from a household that I think they made 38,000.
Wow.
Between two, my dad was a truck driver. My mom was a factory worker.
Wow.
Yeah. And 38, I think the most that they made before they retired, if I remember my father telling me, is $50,000 between two people.
Wow.
Most that they made. I get into real estate. In my first year, I made 125,000.
My goodness. That's a culture shock in and of itself. If you've only seen or heard $50,000 at the most, and then your first year in a new business, you're making 120. How do you handle that? How do you handle the money? Did you blow a lot of it?
I spent it.
I was gonna guess that.
Yeah.
That's just natural. Like,
yeah.
how would you know what to do with it when it comes in that quickly in a year, and you've never seen that type of money before?
Yeah, when I got my first, I think $6,000 check, which was my first check, I was like, get it out of my hands. I don't know what to do with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's go eat. Let's go to Disneyland. 3 months later, I can't make my mortgage.
Yeah. the old Oprah. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car.
You think it's funny? I did. We got a new car.
That is funny.
You know, I worked in corporate, and my husband at the time was working as a plumber, and so he had a company car, so we didn't need one. Mm-hmm. So got into real estate. Like, yeah, let's get a car.
That is funny. That's normal, right? Like, that's just what happens, and obviously you get better. You get better habits.
Yeah. Again. All the people that I knew, everybody that I associated, my entire family is all blue collar. Every single one of them.
Sure.
Yeah, I think now, I think we're now on second generation Americans here, and they're now starting to develop. So it's a younger generation than me.
Right.
Get into the more entrepreneurial, more sales. You know, it's but me coming into business, I had no one to turn to.
I was gonna ask. I'm sure you didn't get a lot of support when you first came into business.
And it's not that they're not. We didn't speak the same lingo anymore. So I went out looking for it. I went out for associations. I seriously had to go out looking for coaching company, associations, and I picked up reading. I picked up reading as an adult.
Got it.
I picked up reading. I was blessed that I had a wonderful mentor and broker at the time who used to have a library in his office. And I would tell him, hey, and he would feed me this stuff and I would read it. We had cassette tapes back then.
Wow, that's taking it way back, Lily. You're going way back.
Yeah, we had cassette tapes, and he says, hey, here, I don't want you listening to the radio. Listen to this in the car. We call it, I think, Jim Rohn.
Okay.
University on Wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so I did not listen, and I love music. I just did not listen to it in my working hours. In my working hours, I listened to Organization, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Tommy Hopkins. I went to go see him in person, and I listened to what my manager told me to listen to, and I was blessed. And I became a student, and now I have my own library.
Wow.
So,
that's so important.
And I didn't have it easy. Because now we go on YouTube and now we go
Find
on
anything.
podcast and we can just listen all day and night.
I know. People don't understand how blessed we are at this age, at this stage in life, to have so much information and so much content out there, because, back then people really had to search for the inspiration, the motivation, the right mindset. It was tough to find it. And, but that goes to say also how important it is that you find it, because that's going to be the foundation of you getting ahead financially or in a business, is if you're feeding your mind with the right things. So again, it's good that you found that, because all of these things, and hopefully everyone out there that's listening is understanding, these are the keys to being successful. Doesn't matter if you're in real estate or in any other industry. These are some basic foundational things that you need to have to make sure that you're successful. You need to make sure that your associations are the right associations, that you're listening to the right people, feeding your brain with the right things, that you have structure, that you have these daily non-negotiables, that you're upfront with people around you about what you do and talking about your business. These are all just basic things. And again, goes to your point that, that this is why you're successful. This is why you do well in business.
I can always do better. I'm still learning.
We can always do better, but you have accomplished quite a bit thus far. So fast forward, because we're getting ready to wrap up, but fast forward, tell me about the state of your business right now. Like, what excites you about the industry right now that's keeping you there?
The state of my business currently, the market is becoming more of a normal market. We've been going on an upswing. We have just noticed in the past 2 months that we have pretty much flatlined, and my current marketplace is anywhere from 650 to 800,000 purchase price here in North Orange County and some of Long Beach areas. So I service Carson, obviously, because that's my hometown, but anywhere from Carson down to Huntington Beach. That is my marketplace. So my sphere of influence, my numbers, because you got to know your numbers. My number says anywhere from 650 to 800 is my target zone here, and we've just flattened. We're doing a little shuffle. Interest rates went up. They're 5%, or sometimes maybe even creeping up a little bit higher. And so you put your head down and you keep doing what you're doing. Absolutely. You keep doing what you're doing.
That's so important.
Yeah, your non-negotiables. Again, the calls, the notes, we call them pop-bys. We pop by past clients or businesses, and so I found myself to have a lot of success with other business people who are also probably either self-employed in professional settings like yourself, because we understand the power of a referral.
Absolutely.
And so I come in, what Dr. Ivan Meisner says is giver's gain. The more you give and the more you give, it's going to come back to you.
I believe in that more than you know, Lily. Like, I believe in that so much.
Yeah. So if I can give you a referral, it's going to come back to me. And I'm not saying I'm giving you a referral because you owe me. I'm giving you a referral because you deserve it. I believe in you. And you're going to do right by the people that I'm referring to you. So you keep on doing those things, and you budget. Budget has been a huge, huge difference. So I'm blessed that I know how much money I need to make, and I know how much money I need to spend, and I keep myself on the salary.
Yeah.
I keep myself on the salary, and come December, if there's money left over, I get a bonus. And even from that bonus, I'm tithing, I'm saving, I'm investing, and then I'll have some fun money. But no more cars.
No more cars for everyone. No more cars now.
Because that's different now. Now my average check is 16 to 18, sometimes 25,000.
Right.
But on the lowest I'm going to make on a check now is about $16,000 to $18,000.
Right.
So God knows what he's doing when he just gives you a little bit.
Absolutely, because he knows that you're going to blow it if you have more. So
yeah.
he has to mature you.
Yeah,
so
you got
that
to
you can
walk
get to that
through it.
point.
You can't go around it. You can't go above it. You can't go under it. You got to walk through it. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Lily, I appreciate you jumping on. Tell all the people where they can find you. Where can people find you?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Lily Ramirez, that's LILYRAMIREZ.com. That is my website. All the information is on there. I'm Lily Ramirez with Remax Tiffany Real Estate in Cypress, California. I serve Long Beach and Anaheim areas is probably the easiest way I can explain it because I don't know where Cypress is and most people don't know where Cypress
Most
is.
people don't. Most
Yeah,
people don't.
Mickey Mouse is my neighbor and so is the Queen Mary. I'm Squid's queen.
Well, that's awesome. For anybody out there that's in the area or knows anyone in the area, obviously you can hear that Lily knows her stuff. She's been a professional in the real estate game for over 16 years now. So I definitely trust her, and you can trust her as well. Selling, buying, whatever it is that you need to do in the real estate game. So find her. I'll make sure we link up your website. Do you do anything on social? Where's the social platform?
Real easy. I'm not hiding. I'm an open book.
What platform do you use the most?
I'm sorry?
What platform do you use the most? Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook seems to be, Facebook and Instagram. Facebook just has the demographics that I'm trying to hit.
Got it. Got it. So you can find her on Facebook. So
yeah, my kids call it the old people, but it's okay.
That's okay. In business we love Facebook.
Exactly.
So you guys can find her over there on Facebook. But until next time, guys, we're going to sign off of the Property Players Podcast. Thanks so much for joining. We will talk to you guys soon.